Love to have you.
Yes, that was my plan before I had like an emotional breakdown while like publicly humiliating myself for the sake of a cause that I didn't want to ever be in, but my parents and now you and society needs me to be in, and I have a very specific set of skills that unfortunately is needed at some level.
You're good, hon. No worries. Just wait.
Try and avoid the call, and the call just lands on your TikTok page.
What's going on? Right. Why am I not popping up? I should be live now.
Alright, well, have a wonderful live. I hope someone joins you who's cute and nice and sweet and makes it a wonderful show.
We'll see what happens. Thanks, son.
Alright, bye.
Bye. Alright.
Get off.
Do I need to kick you? I should be able to disconnect. There you go. Okay. All right. Well, we are live today, having some lunch, and going over the news for today. If anyone hops in, we are ready to engage with anyone that might need something. So, if you're real, make yourself known. Okay. Trump vows to impose 25% tariffs on imports from the EU. No surprises there. South Carolina Republican wants to put Trump on $250 bill. Why do we need more money? GOP committee chair demands staff call West Bank biblical name. Trump confirms Zelensky's visit on Friday amid negotiations on minerals. Prosecutors conclude Army veterans Capitol riot pardon also covers a separate weapon. Jesus Christ. Judge weighs continued freedom for Adnan Syed in serial murder case. Federal agencies told to stop planning for large-scale layoffs. Well, everyone should plan for it, just we don't need to keep talking about it until it happens. Because what's happening is kind of crazy right now. Nvidia sales grow, which is great. That's fantastic. Technology is always a good thing. Corruption indictment. This is the kind of garbage that is a problem. Apple should get rid of DEI rules instead of making adjustments. 6 more children dead in Gaza. What are we supposed to do? I mean, look at this. It's ridiculous. I don't know how anybody is supposed to sleep. I know I'm not. They're just trying to cut jobs. They're just trying to get rid of what they would consider bloat. But the problem is that the bloat is in the direction of public service. It's not in the direction of reducing costs to things that no longer matter. I mean, genuinely, the bureaucracy is what has to go. It's not the services. It's the amount of paperwork needed to accomplish this. And if it's someone's job to handle the paperwork and an AI can handle the paperwork, then yeah. I mean, unfortunately, that means that job is no longer useful. But that doesn't mean that person isn't useful. They need to be given something else, not just thrown to the bus. It's frustrating. I don't know. Decline of Christianity in the U.S. has slowed and may have leveled off. That's not surprising. New book on Biden by Jake Tapper reports a cover-up about his decline. Yeah, I'm sure Trump is perfect. Man who was mad about Chinese spy balloon faces sentencing. Interesting. There's a blind spot for the right, and for the left, more than 100 intelligence staffers to be fired for sending sexually explicit stuff. Okay. Canada coach tells Trump to lay off ridiculous rhetoric of Canada as a 51st state. That's good. I mean, Canada is Canada. We are human, but ideologies change depending on where you are, where you live, who you're around. Yes, we want everyone to be worldly, and we could definitely point out some blind spots in the rhetoric. But I mean, seriously. Well, that was not exciting, and I seem to be fairly well shadow banned because no one's here and no one's coming in, which tells me exactly what I need to know. That's why this has to be so organic. That's why it has to be so genuine. I'm recording myself because I need to record myself, because I need to be open and honest about what it is that I'm trying to do. But I also realize that this rhetoric doesn't play to the algorithm. And that means that all of this has to happen in the real, and people don't want to act in the real, because if you do, there are very dynamic consequences. I don't know. It just seems like I'm talking to a wall.
Trump's bizarre Gaza takeover video has sparked everything from backlash and applause to weird looks and even accusations of homoerotic wokeism. Measles is back in the United States and has just killed a kid in Texas, but don't worry, RFK Jr. says he's on the case. What the hell is and isn't actually in the Trump spending bill that just passed? We finish out today's show with a positive news story for the first time in weeks. We're talking about all that much more on today's brand new Philip DeFranco Show. You daily dive into the news, how it's being covered, and how people are reacting to it, starting with this. Have you ever found yourself daydreaming of a vacation filled with gold statues of Trump, Elon Musk eating hummus, and propaganda news? Because if so, oh boy, does the President of the United States have an AI video for you. Because last night, Trump posted a video, seemingly of his vision for Gaza, depicting children running out of rubble and into a palm tree-lined resort town, all while this song is playing.
No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, a golden future, a brand new life. Peace and death, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, number one. Trump Gaza shining bright, a golden future, a brand new life. Peace and death, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, number one.
Because I felt a little bit like sensory overload, it would be hard to blame me. And people have highlighted some of the stranger moments there, like Elon Musk and children dancing in money, bearded belly dancers on the beach, a Trump Gaza tower, shirtless Trump sipping poolside brewskis with Netanyahu, and a massive Trump statue and kid carrying a golden Trump balloon. Like, it's kind of a Mickey Mouse and Disneyland situation. And while some were shocked and disturbed, you had others saying, it's not too surprising because Trump has expressed interest in taking Gaza and turning it into what he called the Riviera of the Middle East, rather than previously proposing that the United States would take over the Gaza Strip, a move that would displace the 2 million Palestinians living in the currently war-torn area, though his administration later suggested this would only be temporary. Though obviously, he faced a ton of backlash for suggesting that, with a UN spokesperson, for example, saying that any forced displacement of people is tantamount to ethnic cleansing. So hopping back So the video, it ended up getting a fair share of heat, though tons of people were mocking it. For some noting the gender fluidity of the bearded belly dancers and saying that Trump Gaza actually looks woke. With others writing, make Gaza great again with an AI-generated video we didn't watch super carefully before we posted it. This also, as you had some just genuinely appalled that the President of the United States posted this clip to his social media platforms. So folks saying things like the Trump Gaza video is quite possibly the most disgusting, the most shameful, the most hideous public communication by a U.S. president in living memory. Saying it's not just a moral failure, it's a deliberate, calculated display of cruelty. Well, as Trump sees Gaza not as a home to millions of human beings, but as an empty plot of land for his next branding project. The lives of Palestinians mean nothing to him. They are simply an obstacle to be bulldozed over for casinos, golf courses, and beachfront resorts. Sick person. Well, of course, with this, there were some that loved the Trump video, right? Seeing it as Trump is doing some ethnic trolling. There were also some Trump supporters who were condemning it as well. Or seeing comments on Trump's Instagram saying things like, I voted for you, but what the hell is this? As well as responses on Truth Social saying, bearded belly dancers, you dancing with someone other than your wife? This was weird for me, and I love you, Trump. This should be deleted. Some even speculating, he didn't even post this himself. It must be someone meddling with his account. And well, when the Washington Post asked questions about who produced it and how Trump obtained it, the White House declined to answer, but the spokeswoman did say, President Trump has said Gaza in its current state is uninhabitable for any human being. President Trump is a visionary, and his plan to have the United States involved in Gaza's rebuilding will allow for Palestinians to resettle in new, beautiful communities while improving conditions in the region for generations to come. So there, you had the Post noting again that Trump has given mixed answers on whether or not Palestinians would be allowed to return to and live there after U.S. rebuilding. Yeah, that's the situation, and I'll pass the question off to you. What are your thoughts about the video in question and or our apparent memer-in-chief? But then,
not that anyone's here to listen to my response, but this right here is everything wrong with AI. And they're playing by a very specific playbook. And I don't think they care.
Next up, we should talk about the sad fact that the United States just had its first death from measles since 2015. And that because back in January, an outbreak was reported in West Texas, which is a rural part of the state, with officials reporting 124 cases across 9 counties as of Tuesday, up from 94 late last week. And that is there were another 9 cases reported so far in eastern New Mexico. And just for some context here, measles is not a fucking joke. It is airborne, extremely contagious, and in severe cases can cause blindness, pneumonia, brain swelling, or even death. And the current figures that we've seen in Texas are that around 18 people have been hospitalized, mostly kids from 5 to 17 years old. Now, we have authorities confirming that the person who died was an unvaccinated school-age child at the Covenant Children's Hospital in the city of Lubbock. Now, in case it needs to be said, though, I think that I'm kind of preaching to the choir here. The measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine are both safe and effective according to scientific research, which is why it's required for all kids entering kindergarten and public schools nationwide. But for those in homeschooling or private schools, especially religious ones, that rule doesn't apply. It just so happens that West Texas is home to a close-knit Mennonite community. And what we're seeing is that in Gaines County, where the outbreak started, nearly 1 in 5 incoming kindergartners for the 2023-24 school year did not get the vaccine. And that is the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services aims for a vaccination rate of 95%, saying that's necessary to help prevent outbreaks of this highly contagious disease. So with that said, what we've seen so far is that most of the cases in Texas are in unvaccinated people, or at least people whose vaccination status is unknown, with only 5 cases reported in people who said they had the vaccine. But also, do not mistake this as a localized situation. This is a nationwide threat. Measles cases actually reached a nearly 3-decade high in 2019, and there were several outbreaks just last year, including